Yes, you are right on time. Welcome to the present. Welcome to Arsenal Present. What a week is going to be. Yeah, audio sounding right. It's sounding right. What a weekend. Week 14 of the English Premiership. It should be an exciting one. Onana is going to entertain us. Manchester United is going to entertain us. Chelsea. What will Chelsea be doing this weekend? Postecoglou, the king of PR. What's he going to do this weekend against Manchester City? It should be an exciting weekend. So before we continue, do me that favor. Make sure you strike a like on the video. Very, very important. If you are unsubscribed yet, come on. Make sure you subscribe and do not forget to turn on your notification bell. Very, very important. Yeah. So let's look at the table first. Let's start from the table. Oh no, let's go back. Let's go back. Yeah, the elephant is still on top of the tree. Right there, you can see Arsenal has played 13 games. Most of all the teams have played 13 games, right? 9 victories, 3 draws, 1 loss, 30 points, 17 goal difference, 27 goals for, 10 against. So all these jargons on the media, Arsenal are not scoring enough goals. Arsenal should be doing more. We are not as technically pleasing to watch. We are not as exciting as last season. Last season is gone. Yeah, you should always hope to improve on what you've done on the previous season. But other teams have taken note of what we did last season, and they've actually adjusted accordingly. So we cannot just be analyzing football solely based on just Arsenal alone. You have to analyze it in totality, analyze from the Arsenal perspective, and do not forget we are not playing against some training props or cons. You are playing against teams who have managers who have watched Arsenal, saw what Arsenal did last season, and definitely they're going to adjust accordingly. Arsenal will be facing a lot of low blocks, especially in England. In the English Premiership, we're facing a lot of low blocks, triple marking, double marking of Saka, Martinelli. So sometimes when we analyze and make this bold statement, can we do it in good faith? You just do it in good faith. Don't just do it because it sounds good. It can trigger the algorithm, can trigger people to come and argue in your comment section. I understand the commercial aspect of content creating, but can we just be a little bit more truthful, more genuine in our analysis? Come on. Last season, most teams were not expecting us to even compete for the league, let alone all the most they were expecting was for us to compete for top 4. But somehow, as Providence will have it, we're competing for the league. But when people became familiar with Arsenal's aspirations, it was a bit too late. So this season, they already know what to expect and they're acting accordingly. So this rhetoric of, Arsenal are not playing as the way they played last season, it's not totally true. And on the other side, I'm going to agree that Arteta is going to be conservative. You don't want to burn out the way we burnt out playing high energy octave football last season, and by the 25th week of games, let's not forget it was the first time we had a World Cup in between the Premiership. So the players were already gassed out and burnt out, and a few injuries derailed our aspirations. So all those need to be factored in. This time we are more chilled, more mellowed. We are getting the results. But in Europe, which is different, where teams are more open, where teams are not playing the low block that is being played in England, you can see the results are different, the scorelines are different. So we need to analyze these games with more authenticity, right? Let's not just be jumping and all I call it, analyzing bad faith. And the likes of Jimmy Carragher and Garner, they have a lot to say. They have a lot of waffle to say. They have the platform. They are being bankrolled by these multinational mainstream media. It doesn't mean they are necessarily telling the truth. They have an agenda to run. They have propaganda to push. So sometimes do not take their words too seriously, right? You understand that they will they will drive the narrative in a way that it will trigger you, it will trigger a reaction. It's about commercial revenue. It's about revenue sometimes, about market share in the algorithm. So do not take it too seriously, especially Guy Neville and Jimmy Carragher that work for Sky Sport. They are not to be taken too seriously. So second is Man City doing their thing. We know how Man City are. Sometimes they like to burn slowly. Eventually they will actually pick up the steam. But this season, it looks like even if they are burning slowly and they might eventually pick up the steam, there's still a chink in their armor. I don't trust what I'm saying from Man City. It's lazy analysis to just presume Man City will just do what they always do, turn up in 50 games to go and just start racking up points and go on this extended unbeaten run. I don't say this season. I don't think they are strong as last season. I could be proven wrong. It's not impossible, but I'm looking at it forensically. I am not saying the same Man City. If you watch them, they'll be conceding a lot of goals this season. They are not defensively stingy like they used to be. So I'm not saying write off Man City. You can't write off a team that won the last three premiership. You can't do that. They arguably the best team in Europe, winning the Champions League, winning a treble last. You can't just write them off. But since they lost Gondwan, they lost Mahrez, they lost Laporte, they've lost something. Their replacements are not as adequate as people are making them to be. Maybe just maybe, eventually they'll catch up. But I don't think they are strong as last season. So they have Liverpool right there, Aston Villa fourth, Tottenham Hotspur fifth, Manchester United, right? See, so he's looking funny. Despite the narrative that Manchester United are awful, yes, their playing pattern is awful. I agree to that, but they are actually somehow gathering the points. Yes, they might not be playing the aesthetic pleasing football that you want. Manchester United fans are actually complaining and moaning and whining. I get it, but look at it there: 13 games, right? 8 wins. They don't like drawing, 0 draws, and 5 losses. Is not as awful as the fans are making it, and the media is making it. It's just 13 games. I get it. They are not in the running for the title because most of their fans were thinking this season Tenga would turn it up a notch and they'll be competing for the title. No, 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 no. Hold up. Wait a minute. It's not your time. Calm down. So they're not as awful as people are making it. They are just 6 points shy of the top. 6 points at 13 games. I will not be throwing my toys out of the prime at the moment. I get it. A lot of injuries, a lot of news coming out, the takeover, not takeover, Ten Hag in or out. I think it's a bit too premature for you to be calling for Ten Hag out after 13 games. They've won 8 games, they've lost 5. It's not horrible. Yes, in Europe, they're on the verge of exiting Europe. I understand that. And Onana, Onana has been a comedian that he is. Uh, I find it very funny because they were eager to actually part ways with the hair. And let's be fair, let's not do this revisionist, let's not revise history. The hair was not superb last season. Yes, he had a few, he had some decent clean sheets, but if you watch the game in totality, it cost them Europe last season too, and it cost them some games, it cost them the FA Cup. So, the hair is not totally blameless. So it's easy to say, oh, we shouldn't have sold the hair. The hair twice the mistakes in him. Onana that was meant to be an improvement on the hair. Unfortunately, at the moment, is just not doing the job. Unfortunately, not doing the job. So let's go to Newcastle. They are seventh on the table, 7 wins, 2 draws and 4 losses. Not bad. They've been playing in Europe too. Newcastle have actually known, regardless of what they did to us now, in collaboration with VAR, they are playing well. Brighton, they seem to have run off the ball a little bit. Until last week, they had not had any win in 6. So, but if you look at the table right now, they've played 13. They have 6 victories, 4 draws, and 3 losses, 22 points in 8. Then West Ham are in 9th position with after playing 13 games, 6 wins, 2 draws, 5 losses. So that's the top half of the table. If we go to the other half of the table, no, hold up. Exactly. See Chelsea there, play 13, 14 wins. Sorry, wait. I need to take my coffee. Maybe it's too early this morning. I'm sorry about that. That was a gaffe on my part. There is no way I'm saying they've not even played 14 games. So 13 played. Chelsea has played 13 games, won 4, drew 4, and lost 5. What's going on here? A team that invested £1 billion in the last 12 months. Let me repeat that again. Chelsea have played 13 games, 4 wins, 4 draws, 5 losses, 16 points, plus 2 goal difference. They've scored 22 goals and conceded 20 goals. This is ridiculous. But the was supposed to come and improve on the team. How do you explain a team that don't tell me about youngsters? Because I've been hearing some funny argument that no, it's a young team, it's young for no. If I'm running an organization on a budget of Apple budget, right? People expect me to get at least similar result to Apple. If I'm running a budget on a Yahoo budget, people expect me to get a result similar to a Yahoo. Like, no, this is poor, this is preposterous, this is dirty, this is stinky, this is abysmal. You cannot invest so much money. Don't tell me about the young project. You told me they're talented players, so why are they not showing off their talent? You cannot have played 13 games this new 2023-2024 season. You've won just 4, you've drawn 4, and lost 5 and 6. That is not good enough. There is no way you want to slice it, dice it. This is horrific. This is poor. This is horrible. This almighty Chelsea that was supposed to be completely brought in Caicedo, they brought in Enzo Fernandez. Like what are they doing? Lavia, someone says, Lavia hasn't played, but they have enough in their ranks not to be in 10th position. Just after they've lost more than they've won this season. This is not good enough. This is not good enough. Let's just say for what it is. This is not good enough. So let's move to the fixtures today. No, that's tomorrow. So in the EPL today, Burnley versus Sheffield United. That's a battle of the lowlies. So if on the table, Burnley are 20th, Sheffield United are 18th. I don't expect much. Burnley, for me, Vincent Kompany, for me, the media try to spin the narrative of a young manager playing decent football. I'm sorry, like you cannot be playing the kind of football you're playing with those players. Those players are not good enough. If he doesn't switch it up, we know for sure Burnley will be relegated. They will be relegated. They don't have the quality of players to play the kind of football he's playing. Hence the mistakes, the concession of goals during matches and losing matches from winning position. You cannot do that. And for Sheffield United, I don't think they will escape not being relegated. I think both Burnley and Sheffield United are strong candidates for relegation. I don't think they can survive the intensity, They cannot survive the spending power of the other teams. They can't survive the quality of other teams. So I think uh, regarding this game, Burnley versus Sheffield United, I think it will end in a draw. I think Sheffield United will nick something from Burnley because defensively, Burnley are all over the place, they're all over the gaff. I'm not going to be swayed by the sweet talking of Vincent Company. I think he's a good manager. I won't say he's a smart manager or intelligent manager, but intelligent manager know how to adjust to their new surroundings. Now, in the championship, you could play that way because the quality of the championship is not as high as the Premier League. Now you're in the big boys league, the Premier League, you can't afford to be playing that kind of way. So I think Sheffield United will get something from Burnley. I think that'll end a draw. Brentford against Luton. Brentford are a decent team. You saw how they actually gave Arsenal a tough run for their money last week. They're a tough team, and at home, I expect them to beat Luton. Yes, Luton got a draw against Liverpool a few weeks ago. That should be, give them a bit of confidence. But I think Brentford will just be too much for Luton Town, and I think Brentford should be winning that one. I'll go for a 3-1 victory for Brentford. So, Arsenal versus Wolverhampton Wanderers. This should be an interesting match. We know Wolverhampton missing two of their key midfielders in Gomez and Lamina, who have actually reached a threshold of 5 yellow cards apiece. And once you accumulate 5 yellow cards, you'll be suspended for the next match. So they'll be suspended. So I expect them to bring in their sub bench midfielders. So Neto is out with a hamstring injury, so he's not yet back. So I know Cunha is a tricky customer. Cunha and Hong, the Korean guy, they have two decent strikers. I'm not saying they are little strikers, but if you give them that space, they'll run the channel. Now Cunha will need like 4-5 chances to score one goal, but the Korean guy is kind of little. If you give him 2 or 3 chances, he'll get a goal. So we have to be very careful. Be on the watch out, on the lookout for the Korean guy. Defensively, Wolves are not the strongest. They're always conceding goals. They are yet to keep a single clean sheet this season. But they have good players. But most of their players are not defensive players. So if they decide to play a low block today against Arsenal, I don't think that's their greatest strength. But they do not have the quality in their team, in my opinion, to actually triumph over Arsenal. Arsenal have a better team, a better squad, better starting level, in my opinion, a better bench and a better manager. Gary O'Neill, remember the trick he pulled on us when he was still the Bournemouth coach last season with that goal they scored early in the first half. I think within the first 1 minute they scored against us last season. We have to make sure we do not repeat that mistake. Gary O'Neill can be very tricky. He's a decent manager, in my opinion. So Arsenal must make sure we do not take Wolverhampton Wanderers for lightly. Let's not be complacent. Let's take the match very seriously. Gary O'Neill will have some tricks up his sleeve. We cannot afford to draw this match. We have to win. We have to win this match. Defensively, we are better than Wolves. Midfield-wise, we are better than Wolves. Offensively, we are better than Wolves. I expect Kai Havertz to start. He's in a rich vein of form. He scored against Brentford, scored against Lens midweek during the Champions League. So it's just fair to continue to play him. He's in a rich vein of form. The momentum is on playing. So I expect us to go with Raya. Raya should be keeping. We all know the debate has ended. Raya is undisputed the number 1 goalkeeper for Arsenal now. The back four, maybe Tomiyasu comes in this time because Ben White has been struggling with a little muscle injury, even though he had to take part in training and he played the second half against Lens. So Tomiyasu was substituted against Lens for this match. I think Tomiyasu will be starting. And we know the centre half pairing is going to be Gabriel and Saliba. Zinchenko is expected to be the left back. The 6th, Declan Rice. How good is Declan Rice, guys? I would like to know. This guy is just called. He's a different beast. Now, somehow, I think Partey aesthetically and the way he plays the game offensively is a little better than Rice, but defensively and the tackling, I think Declan Rice is just head and shoulder above all the DMs. Maybe Rodri is still at this moment, due to the body of work, is still the best DM, but Declan Rice is not far off. This guy just makes the team ticking. He's defensively turned on and switched on. The tackling, the movement of the ball, the driving, the power, the pace, the durability. This guy is what every penny we paid for him from West Ham. Declan Rice, I expect to be the 6. I expect Odegaard and Kai to play the 8. Then the usual suspect up front, Jesus, Martinelli, and Saka. We saw how they destroyed Lens midweek during the Champions League. So I expect them to start. So that's a strong starting lineup for me. So that starting lineup should be able to dispatch of Wolves. Football is not played on paper. On paper, we are stronger than Wolves. We have to still take the match very seriously, and we cannot afford to give a sniffle to Wolves. We cannot afford. If you let them play, if you let them feel confident, they can hurt you. Like I said, Cunha and the Korean guy, they are tricky customers. We cannot afford to take them lightly. Goki Abu, good morning, boss. Shout out to you, Mr. Goki. Good morning. I hope you guys are doing great too. Guys, strike a like on the video. Very, very important. So, make sure you subscribe if you're here to subscribe. So it should be very, very interesting. I still think we should be winning them. We should be beating them. At least to score a few goals against Wolves. Defensively, they are not solid. They've conceded in all their matches, all their 13 matches this season. So we should be beating Wolves at the Emirates. You should be beating them. Score a few goals, it's possible. No, score a few goals. They are not defensively solid. Like I said, their first choice midfielders in Lamina and Gomez are out. So I understand they will bring some replacement, but I don't think their replacements will be as good as their first choice midfielder. So we should be able to beat Wolves at the Emirates, and I'm going for I'm changing my prediction I did in the preview. I'm going for a 4-0 win at the Emirates. I think we should keep a clean sheet against Wolves. It's not guaranteed, but I think we should to do that logically against Wolves. So Nottingham Forest against Everton. So Nottingham Forest are 15th on the table and Everton are 19 due to the 10-point deduction for them breaching the FFP rule. So Nottingham Forest at home are a solid outfit, even though they lost against Brentford in last week. But they still have a very strong home record. Everton, they lost to Manchester United last week in that game. I don't understand how Everton did not score. Yes, the scoreline flattered Manchester United greatly. Everton should have scored. There are some good chances. They should have actually scored, but I don't understand how they did not score. And if you look at how Everton have been playing this season, somehow they are better off playing away. They've got most of their victories away. So I will not be surprised if Everton go to Nottingham Forest and get the job done. I will not be shocked. And we still know that Nottingham Forest, regardless of the loss to Brighton last week, they are a strong outfit at home. So I think Everton could get a victory. I think this will end 2-1 in favor of Everton. I just think so. I think they can do it. Everton, regardless of the strong home form of Nottingham Forest, I think Everton have the players to actually nick all 3 points at Nottingham Forest. So let's go to. I need to take this sticker off the screen, right? Let's take the sticker out. Newcastle versus Manchester United. The oh na 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 oh na na you na na baby. The oh na 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 na. Onana has been catching a lot of flag. We saw his performance against Galatasaray in the Champions League was awful. He was at fault for 2 goals. He was awful. Like, see, even though you want to be a fantastic ball playing goalkeeper, your primary job is the goalkeeping. People actually get it twisted, but you cannot sacrifice your goalkeeping abilities for ball playing abilities. You can't. Just the argument. It just reminds me of the argument of when people have about Trent. Oh, he's so fantastic going forward. No, he's supposed to be a right back first, meaning you're a defender first. Any other thing is an add-on. Anything you add is an add-on. Your primary job is to defend first. Onana's primary job is to keep the ball out of United's net. And he's not actually doing his primary job well. He's not doing his primary job well. Now, against Newcastle, we know Newcastle are actually They have a lot of injuries from the first team players, even though there are reports that Joe Willock might be fit, so that's one body back, but they have a lot of injuries. But the attacking context is still there. Isaac, Almiron, Gordon. They have a decent attacking outfit in the midfield. They have John Linton, Bruno Gomares, so they are still decent against Manchester United. As now, it's easy for us to just write off Manchester United. No, it's very easy. They've not been playing that well, but Manchester United have a way of grinding out these results. You might not like it, but Manchester United have a way of grinding out these results. So I will not be shocked, right? If Manchester United do what they do, their moment FC, you can Bruno Fernandez can shoot one in, Garnacho can score one. Holland, even though he hasn't scored in the Premiership, can decide to open his tally. So Manchester United, regardless of how poor their performance can be, they are still moment FC. They are notorious for scoring against the run of play. They are notorious for not playing well and finding a way to win. So we can banter them, right? Drag them, poke fun at them. But guess what? Manchester United still have a way of finding results. So I'm not totally going to write off Manchester United. At the same time, Newcastle can be very, very boisterous, aggressive. And if Manchester United cannot wither the storm in the first 20, 30 minutes, especially when you're playing at Newcastle, at the St. James's Park, they can be blitzed there. Manchester United have to find a way of calming down the game in the first 20 to 30 minutes because Newcastle will be over them like Rash. They will be over them. They'll be aggressive, they'll be pressing high, the tempo will be high. So Manchester United have to find a way to calm down the game and slow it down. Now I know Bruno Fernandez, for me, is not blessed with ball retaining abilities as much, but they just have to find a way. They are missing players like Casemiro. They are missing a few players. We might not be playing this match. Will it not be too inexperienced? But I think if you're good enough, regardless of your age, you're good enough. The match against Everton, the boy looked good. Regardless, I might be an Arsenal fan. We have to call it through the middle and be objective. Kobe Mino looked good, so I expect him to start this game. Defensively, the combination of Lindelof and Maguire, I don't trust it. I do not trust it. Against Isaac, he's quick, he's nimble, he's little, he's a good dribbler. So he's very corny as a fox in the box. How will the defensive combination of Wan-Bissaka, right, on the as a right back, then the centre house is going to be Lindelof and Maguire, unless they decide to bring in Varane. I don't know what's going on there. He has not been playing Varane for the last few games. And some Manchester United fans are actually feeling ignorant. See, watching from the outside, I'm just speculating. Varane is not dependable. He cannot play 4-5 straight games. So I can understand and see why Ten Hag sometimes will not want to continue to play a player who is very injury prone. That breaks down all the time. So you are breaking down the rhythm of the team all the time. Now, Maguire and Lindelof might not be the best pairing, but guess what? They guarantee you a relative availability compared to Varane, who cannot guarantee you playing 4 straight games. So there's a dilemma there, but you have to understand why managers make certain decisions, because stopping and starting with Varane all the time disrupt the flow and the planning of the manager. So Varane might be the better defender, but availability is very, very important in football, and Varane cannot provide that. So it's easy to just go at manager and say, "Oh, why is he falling out with certain players?" It's not. Sometimes it's not necessarily falling out with certain players. It's just that these managers have seen so much of these players and they can't depend on those players. Availability for me is the strongest trait a player should have in the modern day. If you're not available, no matter how good you are, how do you show your skill set when you're not available? So I can see why Ten Hag will be going for what's his name? The combination of Lindelof and Maguire, even though they are not the best pairing, but it is what it is. So can they stop Isaac, Amaron, and Gordon? We'll find out. We'll find out. It should be a very exciting match. I will go for a draw in this match. Yes, logically, it looks like Newcastle should be beating them at the St. James's Park because they are playing at home, and the fans will crank up the atmosphere. It will be all riled up. I just think Moment FC, aka Manchester United, will find a way to score. Now, the Manchester United they are always scoring in all their games. The problem is that they keep conceding. They can't keep clean sheets. But I still think Manchester United will score. I think Newcastle will score, but I don't think Newcastle will blow Manchester United out of the water. Now, Onana might be a deciding factor because if I was the manager of Newcastle, my policy for this match will be shoot on sight. Shoot on sight because we know Onana's confidence is fragile. We know he's struggling to do the simple things, the fundamentals of goalkeeping. I think sometimes when you are in this confidence crisis, just make it basic. Go back to simplifying this, all these theatrics, all this complication, take it out, try to regain your confidence. You need to regain your confidence back. And Onana needs a lot of confidence. Now he's struggling, his confidence on the floor. Onana's confidence on the floor. This is not time for theatrics. This is time to make it basic, make it simple, and pick it up from there. But if you continue to try this unorthodox way of goalkeeping, try to overly show himself, the policy of Newcastle shoot on sight will just overcome. Like I said, if I was a Newcastle player, once we get close 35 yards, 30 yards to the ball, shooting on sight. I'm sure Newcastle will have practiced a lot of shots because Onana's confidence right now is on the floor. But if I have to predict, I'll go for a 2-2 draw between Newcastle and Manchester United. So let's go to Sunday games. No, wrong slide. So on Sunday, West Ham versus Crystal Palace. West Ham are a decent outfit. Let me look at their position on the table. West Ham right now are ninth on the table. 13 games, 6 wins, 2 draws, and 5 losses. 20 points, not bad. Why Crystal Palace? Let me check for Crystal Palace. They are 13th on the table. 4 wins, 3 draws, and 6 losses. So it's not looking great for Crystal Palace, regardless of people giving a lot of praises to the manager, Roy Hodgson. It looks like when they are without Eze and only say they lack creativity, they lack innovation, and they lack ambition. They do not play well without those 2 players, and the result has not been there. They've been a little bit of whispers that Roy Hodgson's job might be under threat. So let's see what they can do against West Ham at home in the London Stadium. I expect West Ham to win. I think they have enough in their squad to actually win this game. So I'll go for a West Ham win. I'll go for a 3-1 win against Crystal Palace. Liverpool against Fulham on Sunday. Another interesting game. Fulham this season have tailed off since they sold their striker to the Saudi League. They have not been the same outfit they were last season. They were very efficient last season. They were the surprise, almost like the surprise package last season, taking a scar from the mid-table teams and sometimes the big teams, even though they had a draw against Arsenal at the beginning of the season, but they haven't continued to move up the trajectory like a lot of people expected them to be. So I expect Liverpool win at Anfield, regardless of how Liverpool have not been the exciting best, because people always accusing of Arsenal not being the exciting best. Liverpool too have not been that, but they've been efficient in getting results and grinding results. So I expect Liverpool to beat Fulham. I'll be surprised if Fulham can get a draw. I don't think so. There is no way I'm going to let my emotions dictate this one. I'm going to be as objective as possible. I think Liverpool have too much in their reservoir or your Arsenal, pardon the pun, to actually beat West Ham at Anfield. I think this should be a comfortable 4-1 victory for Liverpool. Chelsea against Brighton. Interesting one. Brighton have a few injuries to their key players. Shout out to Mr. Gunnar Maestro. Big old bro. Shout out to you, Mr. Gunnar Maestro. I hope you're doing great. You guys, don't forget to like the video as you come in and subscribe. If you don't subscribe, shout out to you, Mr. Gunnar Maestro. So, Brighton have a few injuries, and Chelsea have a few injuries. So this match should be very exciting. Should be very exciting. I expect an entertaining game. Brighton like to attack. Chelsea like to play games. They like to play games against teams that attack. Let's see what Chelsea can come up with in this game. Now, a lot of Chelsea fans will be excited, thinking, "Oh, they should be able to get this one because Brighton will leave a bit of spaces. Chelsea to leave a bit of spaces." Chelsea have not been the best team this season, regardless of the investment. They have been struggling. So this should be an exciting game for the neutrals. I expect a lot of goals. Both teams have been leaking goals. One thing you can guarantee that both teams will leak goals. Both teams have not kept no clean sheet this season. Chelsea have not kept no clean sheet. Brighton are notorious for conceding. So we know Luis Dunk is out for Brighton. Lamptey is out. Enciso is out. I'm hearing that Maituma might be back for this game. So it should be very interesting. Expect an end-to-end, open, gongo kind of football. So I won't be surprised if this ends like the Man City scoreline 4-4. I will not be surprised. But I just think Brighton might just edge it because Chelsea are just free at home and are free at the back. They find a way to actually let the position team have a go at them. So I am going for a 3-2 win for Brighton. I know, but there's guaranteed. If you're a betting man, Brighton will concede. They can't keep clean sheet. If you're a betting man, Chelsea will concede. They can't keep clean sheet. So I expect an exciting game. I'll go for a 3-2 Brighton win over Chelsea at the Stamford Bridge. Bournemouth against Aston Villa. This should be another good one. I think Bournemouth have enough at home. They play better at home. Let me look at the table and see where Bournemouth are at the moment. They are 16th. They've just had 3 victories this season, 3 draws and 7 losses, while Aston Villa are actually in 4th position. They've played 13 games, 9 wins, 1 draw, and 3 losses. So you were expecting me to go for Aston Villa victory. I don't think so. If you watch the game against Spurs, even though Aston Villa won that match, the way Aston Villa play, right? They play sporadic, erratic football, gongo football, almost with no midfield. Their midfielders do not know how to coordinate the game. They're always going gung-ho. So I think that might actually favor Bolton at home. Even though Aston Villa have the better players, I'm not saying there's no chance for Aston Villa to win. I think there's a massive chance to win. I have this sneaky feeling that Bournemouth will actually pick this one because after watching a few games of Aston Villa, they're always leaving spaces. Their midfield sometimes is non-existent. So I would not be surprised at all if Bournemouth win. I'm going for a 2-1 Bournemouth win against Aston Villa. Now, let's go to the match of the weekend. Yes, the match of the weekend. Let me take away the ticker. Manchester City against Tottenham Hotspur at the Etihad. No, Postecoglou has had a lot to say about him sticking to his principle of playing aggressive, attacking football. A fair game. It has worked in the first few games of this season, but they've lost their last 3 games. Tottenham has lost their last 3 games, but if you watch his press conference for this game, he insists he's going to still play the only way he knows how to play. See, Postecoglou cannot reinvent the goal of football. There are some basics about football. You have to adapt to the strength of your players. Now, he has a few suspensions and injuries. There is no way I'm using the word, you're foolishly going to go and play a high line against City at the Etihad. You will be blitzed. You will be obliterated. You can't. Now, I'm not saying it's impossible for Tottenham to get a result because this is football. I'm not saying it's impossible, but logically, come on. When both teams are having a great day, there is no way Tottenham will not get a thumping if they decide to go with this gung-ho, aggressive, pressing football. We saw it last week against Aston Villa, right? But if you watch the game carefully, by the 60th, 65th minute, Tottenham was out of gas because they were pressing aggressively. They were playing the high line with quote-unquote inferior players, not their first choice players. And they got tired early. And guess what? And you saw Aston Villa begin to get into the game more. You cannot do that against a Man City. You will be ripped apart. You will be torn to shreds. It will be a cricket scoreline. This bragging and fake bravado of we're going to stick to our gun. This is the only way I know how to play. No, 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 no. You cannot reinvent football. You cannot. Your key players, Romero and Van der Beek, are out. Romero is suspended. Van der Beek is out with a long-term injury. Even though Bismarck comes in, Sai is out. Bent Decoy is out. Richarlison is out. You cannot continue to play this gung-ho football, attacking style football, and you think with inferior players and expect to get the same result. Because, see, the hypocrisy of that commentary, right? Especially from the sports fans, they accused and attacked Conte last season for overly being defensive because Conte was playing five at the back against the big teams, the mid-table teams, and the smaller teams, right? And fairly, and I understand why the sports fans were offended by that. You cannot be playing, you cannot have the same approach to Man City and Arsenal and have the same approach against Burnley and the rest. And I get it. But on the flip side, let's look at the logic. On the flip side, but you are still applauding Postecoglou for doing the same thing on the flip side. You cannot be playing against Man City with inferior player. sorry, sorry, with inferior players, with injury-ridden team, and still go attacking when you don't have the same players to go attacking. It's hypocrisy. You can't. You no no. You that logic doesn't sound right. You accuse Conte of being overly defensive with attacking players, but at the same time you are praising Postecoglou for being overly attacking with inferior players. It doesn't make sense. You can't do that. If he decides that he still wants to go gung ho against Manchester City at the Etihad, he will be battered. It will be a critical scoreline. See, there is no glory in losing 3 games. They've lost their last 3, and somehow Tottenham Hotspur fans and the media are finding a way to rationalize and give him some kudos. Even though you have lost the last 3 games, Arteta will not be giving such grace. Ten Hag will not be giving such grace. Pep will not give such grace. But somehow, this Australian bloke mate is finding favor from the press. He's finding favor for the sports fan. The honeymoon period is about to end. You cannot and you should not continue to play this way. You have to adjust. You cannot reinvent football. You have to adjust when you don't have your key players. You adjust. I don't care who you are. The smartest managers, the biggest manager, even Pep has to adjust certain games. Klopp does adjust certain games, right? Arteta does it. So we're supposed to Postecoglou to stick to quote unquote principles when you have your key players out. It's not making sense. So, but let's see whether Postecoglou, sorry, I'm struggling with this cold this morning, whether Postecoglou can reinvent the wheel of football. I would love to say it. Since he wants to reinvent football on Sunday, tomorrow, I would love to see him play that same high line against Manchester City. But if he decides to tweak it, shout out to him for allowing common sense to reign. But if he wants to still continue to stick and be adamant and saying that I'm going to go with this high line, aggressive style of football with inferior players, it will be a whitewash. As in, Man City will significantly increase their goal difference against Tottenham Hotspur tomorrow. What Chelsea did was a child's play. It will be a whitewash, a mauling, obliteration if he decides to go with it. So let's see whether Postecoglou is going to stick to his guns or is going to retract his statement of him going gongo. So, but regardless of that, my predictions for the match is that Man City is going to win. I think Man City is going to win 4-1. I think Spurs will score. Song has to try to stay on onside this time. Last week, he had a hat trick of offside goals, and those were legitimate offside goals. He needs to find a way to stay onside to score his goals. So, I just think Man City have superior defense, superior midfield, even though we can argue Man City have been conceding a lot of goals. They conceded 4 against Chelsea. They considered last week. So Man City defensively have not been as stingy as Man City has been in the last few years. They are giving away a lot of goals. They are conceding a lot of chances. Ruben Diaz sometimes be looking shaky. If you watch the game in midweek, the Champions League against RB Leipzig, you saw how Ruben Diaz was shaken off. So they are not as effective. For me, it's lazy analysis. Just say, oh, Man City will win the fourth Premier League. It's lazy analysis. They're still a strong team. You cannot write them off. Man City are still a very, very strong team. But there's a chink in that armor. They are gettable. They are beatable. They are not as strong as they used to be. They did not replace Gundogan effectively for me. Kovacic and Nunez are not effective replacement for Gundogan. Doku is doing bits, but it'll take him some time to acclimatize fully to the Man City way of playing and the English Premiership. So they did not replace Mahrez effectively, but it'll take them some time, and the English Premiership is more competitive. So there's a chink in Man City among, but I think they have enough to actually beat Tottenham Hotspur on Sunday. So those are the games this weekend in the English Premiership. So, guys, let me know what you think about all the games. Do you think Arsenal will still be on top of the league at the end of this weekend? I think so. We should be able to beat Wolves. We must. Arsenal must beat Wolves this weekend. There is no excuse. We have to beat Wolves this weekend. It's an opportunity. Wolves I get the football can be very funny. This is not the day to have a bad day at the office. This is not the day for us not to have a bad day at the office. I know things can happen, but this is not the day. We must beat Wolves at the Emirates. I'm expecting a very exciting game between Newcastle and Manchester United at St. James's Park. That's another great game to watch out for today. Which other game? Tomorrow, Chelsea against Brighton. Another exciting game. It will be a high-scoring game. A gung-ho football end to end. Then the Man City game against Tottenham should be another exciting game to watch out for. So, guys, if you're just joining me for the first time, do me that favor by liking the video, subscribe here to subscribe, or you're yet to undecided, subscribe if you like the content. Do that by supporting my channel. Subscribe here to subscribe. And lastly, do not forget to turn on your notification bell. So, guys, I'll be leaving you guys for now. Expect a live stream match reaction after the Arsenal game against Wolves. I'll be doing a match reaction to that one. And I might, at the end of the day, still do match reaction to all the matches played today in the English Premiership. So, like I said, one more time, like the video, subscribe here to subscribe. Make sure you turn your notification bell, very important. And guys, thank you for sticking with me today. I really appreciate you guys so much. Shout out to Goke, Abu, and shout out to Mr. Gunnar Maestro for their comments. So, guys, I'll be seeing you guys in a few. Like the video, subscribe, turn on the notification bell. Enjoy today's matches. Make sure you are back for the match reaction between Arsenal and Wolves. I'll be here, win, lose, or draw. Hopefully, touch wood, we win that match. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye for now.